Module 11, Phylum Nematoda. The members of phylum Nematoda are commonly called roundworms, as their bodies are long and cylindrical instead of flattened like the flatworms. Like the flatworms and the segmented worms, members of phylum Nematoda possess bilateral symmetry. But unlike the other worm phyla, these organisms are quite small. Nematodes are found throughout the world, living in nearly every ecosystem. This means the organisms in this phylum can endure harsh living conditions, such as extreme heat, lack of water, cold, and high pressure. Most of these guys are parasites, often living in their host's intestine. That is why it's helpful if they can handle rough environments. Their basic body structure is pretty much a tube inside another tube that's tapered on both ends. The outside tube is the epidermis, which secretes a slimy cuticle. This cuticle protects the roundworm from the digestive juices when the worm is living in a host's intestine. The inner tube behaves as a digestive tract, and it's open on both ends. Inside its host, a roundworm will use small hooks around its mouth to attach to the intestinal wall. It will then feed on the host's blood. When you study science, you begin to see that some of the most fascinating and creepy situations exist in real life. Who needs science fiction? Humans can be infected by about 30 different species of roundworms, and if they are, they can experience anemia, pain, diarrhea, and weight loss. One of the most infamous roundworms that infects people is Trichinella spiralis. They have a life cycle that's similar to most parasitic roundworms, beginning in the intestines of one of multiple hosts. In the case of Trichinella, they live in the intestines of pigs or game animals. When the female worm reproduces, the young worms move to the host's blood vessels and travel to the muscle tissue. There, they develop for 2 weeks and then form cysts. When people eat meat from an infected pig or other game animal, the digestive juices in their intestines break down the cysts, releasing the young worms. The worms continue to grow for a few days, and as they mature, they irritate their host's digestive tract, causing the symptoms I mentioned before. When these worms mature and are ready to mate, their offspring move to the muscle tissue, and there they can cause muscle and joint pain and severe swelling. When a person has an infection of Trichinella, it's called trichinosis. This is not usually a deadly condition and can be treated, with a person healing over a period of about 6 months, but there are often residual permanent effects, such as heart and eye damage. The major cause of trichinosis is from humans eating improperly cooked pork. Even with careful inspection of the meat, it's difficult to identify the cysts, so infected pork may get past inspection. If the infected meat is cooked thoroughly, the cysts will disintegrate, but if it's not, the cysts will move into the digestive tract and infect their new host. The processing of food in modern countries has come a long way. Scientists have determined that by freezing pork at a very cold temperature, they will kill any cysts that may be present, and it's much less likely that a person today is at risk of contracting trichinosis. But back in history, it was a different story. Yet it is very interesting that even before people knew about the existence of Trichinella, God protected his people by instructing them not to eat pork. He was keeping them from harm even when they were not aware they would be in danger from eating the meat. This is an important principle. God is all-knowing and wise, and we can be confident that his rules are for our good.